Looks like I don't think there's any injuries, major injuries that haven't been, from the game. So came out pretty good there.
The play where Dart ended up going to the tent, was that a busted play?
No, it was, it was kind of a fake run, and he had a little pop pass there. Didn't like the look, so he just ate it and just tried to get back to line of scrimmage.
That's not one of the options, though? It's not like an option run, whereas one of the options is pitch or pop.
No, it's like he's either throw it. I mean, it's either him or nobody. He didn't like the look or like the decision there, so he just tried to get back to line of scrimmage on the run, which we've talked about too. But it's not like a design run.
Did the officials make him go out? Is
Yes.
that kind of what happened there?
Yeah.
And they were checking that it was because of his neck, the way he bent.
I'm not sure what the official said, but the official was the one that asked him to get evaluated. But he was fine.
The passing operation seemed a little off in the first half. Jaxson was completing around 40-something% of his passes in the first two quarters. And what was going on that Washington was doing that was kind of disrupting things?
I think we have to do a better job just executing some of those things. I can get some of the designs. I'll go back and look at the tape. Had some opportunities downfield, just missed, whether it was just overthrown or not caught. Some things I can go back and look at and see how we can continue to work our guys to get them open. But, overall just not clean. All 11 guys on offense, just, coaches included, just being a little bit clearer in the pass game. But we'll go back and look at it and we'll get those things fixed.
Was there any explanation or what you see with John Michael Schmitz when he got the 15-yard penalty?
I asked for an explanation, sorry, and they said that it was like a headbutt, kind of this helmet-to-helmet type thing, so just got to be smart there. Obviously can't have those penalties. Those are big penalties, particularly when you're, down there in the low red zone. So, that's what they called.
Ultimately, what do you think the difference was today?
I'm sorry?
Ultimately, what was the difference today?
We just, as a group, as a team, we just didn't put one together. I think we had some individual good performance, good drives, good plays here and there. But you got to play a 60, versus that team, you got to play it for 60 minutes. And you got to be executing at a high level for 60 minutes. We made some plays. They made more at the end of the day. And so, I think our guys just got to keep on battling, keep on fighting. That's what we're going to need. That's what it's going to take to get over the hump and get a W.
What was the thought process? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What was the thought process behind sending Koo out for the first field goal attempt? I think it was early in the game. You guys decided to be aggressive. What was the thought process behind that?
To get points.
Did that affect sending him out there for that second field goal attempt for the 51-yard?
It didn't affect it. It didn't affect it. He was, inside our line that we had talked about. So I felt confident in Koo to go get it done.
Can you talk a little bit, Mike, about the special teams that they let a punt return touchdown and then the 2 missed field goals as well? Yeah.
It's like, again, it's a team game. And so, the special teams had a couple of plays that I'm sure they'd like back. And, I'd say the same thing for offensively and defensively. We gave a big one on defense. On offense, we turned the ball over at the end of the half. We were kind of rolling. So, again, the team game, we all got to get cleaned up. We all got to do better. If we want to get a win, then all 3 units got to be firing on all cylinders. And that's really the name of the game. That's really where we all got to dig down deep and work to get better so that we can go get a W. Our coaches, our players, I saw the look in their eye when we broke it down just a few minutes ago. I think our guys are hungry for that W, and they want it, but we all got to put it together. Coaches, players, everyone's in it together to go do that.
In all your time in football, have you ever gone through a stretch of losses like this as a player, as an assistant coach anyway? Have you gone through this yourself? And if so, what do you take from that?
I haven't personally, but we're in it right now. And I think this is an opportunity for our team to learn from these opportunities, these situations, and grow and continue to grow. Because, these situations, a lot of times they kickstart something really great. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's what I'm looking forward to this week of practice, to see how our guys respond. And I know they'll respond the right way.
Mike, so Jaxson had 63 yards on the ground. He left briefly for that 1-yard play. How, going forward, what's the conversation surrounding being able to play his game, his style, his aggressive way of playing, and protecting himself as well?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna change much in terms of how we play the game. I think just having the designed a thought process for how we scheme it up, So I thought we had a couple opportunities where, he's protected. He's got someone out in front of him. On that one particular play where he got out, that was a pass. So I think there's not much you can really do there. But of course, we have his health. We have everyone's health in mind when we call plays and we think about it. But it's one of his great strengths. And you saw it today in full color when he's out there scrambling and making huge plays with his feet. And he's an aggressive ball player, so we're not going to take away his stinger on that aspect. But he knows when he's a smart football player, and he knows when he needs to protect himself and when he needs to go and make a play. And I trust him to do that, and that's probably the most important thing. The guys on the field trust him to go do that. And so as we've talked, through the weeks now with Jaxson, this is a part of his game that I think makes him special. And as he continues to grow, I think he's making smart decisions. He took a couple slides today. It's part of that growth process, but that's one of the elite things he does in the National Football League.
How likely is it that the other quarterbacks will play?
Sorry, say that again.
How likely is it that you'll use the other quarterbacks?
Instead of Jaxson? Jaxson will roll as long as he's healthy, yes.
Gunner dealing with the concussion and the uncertainty that he was going to play this week. Why not call up one of the two return specialists that you guys have on the practice squad? Yeah,
we definitely had those conversations just late in the week where we had some other groups, position groups that we were talking about, on the D line where we had some sicknesses and things like that. So we got a lot of trust in Holland to go back there and fair catch it, and actually had a couple nice returns for us. But it was certainly one of the discussion points that we had in the week.
What did you see from Abdul today?
Abdul played his tail off. It's no surprise he prepared that way, and that's how he addressed the week. He came in. I thought he played his butt off. Fumble recovery, fumble return. Had a couple plays in the backfield. I mean, he was playing with his hair on fire today. So that's one step. He's got to keep on stacking those days. But really, without watching the tape yet, I thought he played his butt off.
The first time you bench, you end up having to bench him again 2 games later. How much different was the response this time in your eyes?
Yeah, you just see growth from the player. You see growth from him. He's taken accountability for it. He's learned from those things, and he's putting together a good week. You see, he's in here early, staying late, and trying to make himself a better player. But and he's helping the team, and that's what it's all about. He's not only just helping himself be prepped and ready for the game, but he's helping the unit. He's helping his group. He's helping the team be more productive, and everyone's doing that. You see guys in there early in the morning. When I'm walking around the building and I see guys in there studying, getting their body right, that's important. And that's you see a young player like Abdul doing that. He's taking that from somebody. Who is it? Oh, well, Brian Burns is in the building early. Dexter Lawrence is in the building early. Guys on offense, same thing. Young players, you see those guys in and around the building early, and and because it means something to them. So I think that's super important. And I think at the end of the day, that'll help get us the results we want.
Daniel, offensively, it looked like the wind had a big impact on the game today. Sometimes it was nasty. It certainly affected the kicking game. How did it affect the passing game?
When you're northeast and you have the weather like this, it's going to be a problem. When you're coming in, obviously snow and wind in the morning. We had to overcome that with the run game and be more physical on the ground. And I think at times we did that, but obviously not enough to get the win.
How disappointing is it that your defense comes up with the 2 takeaways down the stretch, gives you a chance to make the comeback, but you can't do it?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think we're all frustrated on every level. Players, coaches. I think we're frustrated with not being able to score there, we just got to be better.
We talk about your versatility all the time, and today there was one stretch you caught 3 passes in a row. Then you made a key block on the touchdown. That had to make you feel good.
Yeah. Of course, that makes me individually feel good, but when you don't come away with a win, it's not good enough.
And thoughts on how Jaxson handled the weather and the difficulties today, trying to come back from behind again?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a tough kid, and we love him. We support him. He's going to keep running the ball hard, and we got to keep trying to protect him.
Thanks for your time, Dan.
Thank you.
Dan, you've been around here a while. So when you come out to the tunnel, start the game, a lot of empty seats. That's not a first for you, is it, to see that?
No. It's tough, but it's an onus on ourselves to be like, look, we got to win games. You want people to show up, you want people to support us, then we got to win and give them a reason to support us.
When you're pushing in the game and you fall so far behind, what's the feeling as you head to the sideline after empty possessions? like that, and you know that you guys really cost yourselves opportunities?
Yeah, again, I think the key word is just frustration. We're all frustrated, and, we keep trying to piggyback off each other. I just think we got to be, I know I say it every week, but we just got to find a little bit more to get over that hump, to make those plays, and to capitalize on those situations.
So when you come into a game and the team you're facing, that team, they've lost 8 straight. Is there a feeling that this is an opportunity, you know what I mean, as opposed, you think it's an opportunity every week, but this is maybe more of an opportunity?
Right. I mean, the mindset's always going to be it's a new opportunity every single week, and we're going to approach it the same way. We're going to go in tomorrow, correct what we need to correct, and, come out and be a better team on next week.
Like you said, you've talked about it every week. I mean, unfortunately, you've seen some lows around here. Is this one different? Because it seems like there are times where this team looks like it should be a lot better than what it is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it feels different. Like we're a better team than what we're showing out there. And, like you said, at times we're showing it, but we just need to put a complete game together to show completely who we are as a whole team and not at certain moments or certain spurts. And I think once we can put together a complete game, people understand that, look, we're a good team. We just need to capitalize in certain moments.
Abdul, a terrific game for you today. I believe, if I'm hearing correctly, the quote from my captain right now was, he played his butt off like his pants were on fire. What does that mean when your head coach says something like that to you in light of the lessons you've had to learn over the last few weeks?
Yeah, obviously I appreciate the message, but, I feel like if we just got the win, it'd make it a lot better. So that's all I'm thinking about, just how much we got to win.
What was going right for you today?
Just doing my job, playing fast, playing hard. Simple as that. Nothing too much.
We had heard that during the week you had done a lot of extra study, film work, and so forth. That's a lot of questions. How much did some of that stuff apply to today's effort?
Yeah, it definitely helped a lot. Just watching film with the coaches, me coming in early, talking to them, getting a head start in the week. It definitely helped me a lot.
And how much did some of the other guys on the defense help keep you focused and motivated this week to put forth the kind of game you did?
Yeah, they on me. So obviously some of the guys caught me out. I had to step up. I feel like I did that, but like I said, at the end of the day, I wish we got the win.
Mariota's pretty mobile. Not difficult, was it, to try to track him down?
Not too difficult.
You got the speed, right?
What were you doing differently this week?
So I just watching more film, being better at being a pro, being a better teammate. I feel that's something I needed to focus on. I feel like I had a good start with that this week.
What stuff with your technique maybe have you really been focusing on, trying to improve?
Yeah, I feel like that's something that just improves each week, week in and week out. Talking to my coaches, talking to Burns, Tibbs, those guys in my room. Me keep finding ways to get better.
Is there anything in particular? Anything in particular with your hands or anything within your technique?
Yeah, I can't say nothing specific, but just keep getting better.
Do you think the increased work in what you did this week affected your play on the field?
Yeah, I think so.
In what ways?
I would say just me being a better teammate, trusting the guys around me, them trusting me more. That just felt good, and just coming out here.
Yeah. On the fumble at the end of the game, what did you see on that play?
Yeah, I got to watch it back. I can't wait to watch it. I wish I scored, so I don't know, but I got to watch it back, yeah.
Did you think in the moment that you were still up, or did you think you might have been down?
Yeah, I got to watch the play. Yeah, I was getting tackled. I saw my teammate open, try to make a play.
What's a game like this, just the season you've had, to come out and have this performance?
Yeah, it means a lot. I feel like it was a statement, but it would have been more, satisfying if we got the win.
Do you feel like these last few weeks are really important for you, just going into the next season, if you personally to finish strong and show to yourself that you can perform in the NFL?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to finish strong. That's what I'm doing with these last couple of weeks. And so I'm doing everything in my possible to finish strong.
You're going to continue doing what you've done this past week into the next week?
For sure. Absolutely.
Darius, I'm sorry you asked this before. The long one that kind of slipped through your hands. What happened?
Yeah. I tracked as best I could. I tried to run it down. I feel like I did run it down. I got my hands on it, and I just wasn't able to bring it in with the guy coming in with the contact. But had to try to find a way to make those.
I mean, that's not the reason you play like you do, but they always say the home field advantage helps the team.
For sure.
Today, did it seem like kind of a neutral? I must say there's just so few people.
Yeah. Try not to let too many, external forces, dictate how we play. I just feel like coming off the bye, started off really slow, turned it on second quarter. So many missed opportunities. We had a bunch of points left out on the table, offense, defense, and special teams, and just were not able to get it done down the red zone. Missed a lot of plays that would have helped us, and just was not complimentary in all three phases.
That 1st and goal to 1, it seemed like they knew what was coming. I mean, they really, that first play with Jaxson lost yards and then going to the 10 for a couple of games.
Yeah.
I mean, was that just, it wasn't a busted play, but it seemed like they read the play or something?
Yeah, that was number 4 on that play, making a really instinctual play. He kind of knows. He knows what he's getting, when we're in that formation, and he gambled. Jaxson, Jaxson has a read on that play, and number 4 gambled, and it played off well for him, and they got -2, -3 yards on that. And number 4 made a good play on that.
Looked like he wanted to give it to the right side. Was that Jaxson on that play? I mean, that's not a keeper play, is it for him?
I'm not entirely sure. I forget the exact play call we had there, but I think he has the option to, give it or keep it on that play. And number 4 is a great player in this league, and he made a great play.
You try to do everything you can to execute and get those scores and, get the game closer, but just didn't do enough. Good.
You guys, when Dart goes out of that game, what's the thought there? I mean, obviously you have a lot of confidence in Jameis, but that seemed like kind of a turning point in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you never want your Q to take hits like that. And, Dart's been taking a couple hits recently, so, he's getting better with it. But at the same time, too, he's still a young guy who just wants to win and is used to doing everything, putting his body on the line to win. But, the D-lines and the NFL are a little bit bigger and tougher and hit harder. So, I think that he's still learning, but, he's the heartbeat of this team, so we need to do everything we can to make sure he stays in there.
What happened on the play where you had to come out and did the officials just tell you had to go to the sideline, and what did you get checked for?
Yeah, I don't really, the play, tried to put like a little, trick pass on it. They did a good job of covering it, so didn't want to, make a bad play worse by, forcing the ball, so just try to get back to the line of scrimmage. I'm not really sure what the reason was I had to come out of the game. It was just it was weird. I don't understand it.
Some of the other times you've come out, Jaxson, they've been off of hits that were noteworthy. Like you got popped pretty good, and you come off the sideline, and you come back in. Was this the first one that even you were kind of surprised they were asking you to come out?
This definitely wasn't the first time that I've been surprised that I've had to come out, but I was definitely surprised. Just didn't feel like it was that big of a hit at all. Obviously, just like the situation that we were in too. 1st and goal on the 2. That's a big thing that happens in a game. So I was definitely surprised.
On the interception, was the route to stay to the outside? Because your ball went inside, you got the receiver got cut off out there. Can you just walk us through what you saw in that play there?
Me and Jalen just weren't on the same page. So, we got to get that corrected by reps, and, we will.
When you're taken out of the game, sometimes does it feel like they're almost watching you extra close for whatever reason? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't just see people getting taken out of the game like that. So I definitely feel like there's a sensitivity for some reason.
You think it might be related to the fact that they let you go back in Chicago and they're overcorrecting?
I'm not sure, for the reason. I think that'll just be something that hopefully can get communicated. Not really sure, to be honest, why that happened.
Why do you think you guys?
What do you do about that? What can you do about that? Is there anything?
I mean, I don't know.
Steps you could do to change that narrative or change that perception? Or?
Maybe just like run the other way. I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Could you talk about the last possession where you could have tied the game?
Yeah, I take accountability for this one. I didn't play well enough today for this team to win, so I got to be better, especially in that situation. And I didn't play good enough for our team today.
On that pass to Slayton, was it intended for you to loft it, or when you think about it in hindsight, should you have thrown the ball a little differently on that route?
Yeah, definitely just didn't put a good enough throw on it. That wasn't like the play that was designed. It was a communication that me and him had in the huddle, just to route off, an adjustment that we ran a few times during the game. So, that's definitely one you want back.
Jaxson, on the seems like the empty possessions, when they start mounting, it looks like it creates a little bit more frustration, more pressure for you guys to actually get things done. Do you feel that when you guys go as a unit to the sideline? Are you trying to work through that, or is it a clean slate every time you get out there on the field?
Well, I think you're definitely frustrated, when you come up empty-handed, especially, how we started off the game. You can't play like that as an offense. So, there's definitely, guys were trying to be positive, but there's also frustration too. And I felt like we played better in the second half, but, for us to be the team that we want to, we can't play like that, in the first half.
What do you think changed in the second half? Because obviously that first half just ended as almost as bad as it could have gone. But what changed, you think, starting the second half the way you guys did?
I felt like there were just, some weird things that happened in the first half where it could have gone a completely different way on some of the conversions and whatnot. But, that's just football, so you kind of have to battle through those things. Just felt like we executed, better in the second half, played faster. Everybody was just a little bit more decisive on decisions. And, I feel like that was kind of the reason for why we played better in the second half.
Jaxson, on the play on the goal line, was you running an option on the play, or that you did that yourself because the design play didn't work?
Yeah, like I said, we had a play that has been working all week, and they did a good job of defending it. And, I'm not going to, like I said earlier, make a bad play worse. I'm just going to try to get back to the line of scrimmage or make something happen and, put ourselves in a good situation for second down. So that was kind of my mentality.
Jaxson, it's been 2 months since you guys have last won. At this point, how difficult is it for you guys to kind of just, every loss is its own game, but how tough is it for you guys to just see these keep adding up and try to just, not let it sink on you a little bit?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I'm not going to, talk around it. It's definitely tough. But, the only thing that we can do is come back in the facility for the next week and prepare even harder and just continue to try to learn. I know that, this isn't going to be the case for the future, and things are going to eventually turn around. So I definitely have that, in my mind. But obviously as a team, we want to get that switched immediately.
When you scored that touchdown, Jaxson, against the Broncos and gave you guys the lead,
yeah.
I imagine that you didn't think that everything that has followed since then has been what's followed since then. How do you keep your head above water? Like, how do you keep the positivity flowing when this thing is just spiraling?
You just have frustrations that mound up, and for me, I just I try to work harder every day. I try to turn those feelings and these results into motivation. I love this game. I love coming to work every day. I love my teammates. So I'm never going to be somebody that's just discouraged completely and have anything to do with my daily habits. So I'm just trying to continue to work harder.
Take a few more.
Are there things that you've learned throughout your career to prevent you from getting as discouraged as maybe from the outside it would seem to be? What do you work on now? You go home, then tomorrow. How do you make sure that you're not as discouraged as maybe people expect you to be?
I think I'm still learning that. I haven't gone this long without a win in my career, so you definitely try to obviously learn from the things that you didn't play well enough from, and I'm trying to just live week to week, and trying to get a little bit of motivation, be a little bit of a spark. So, just trying to communicate as positively as I can. These hurt, so you gotta try to take it for what it is. And you just try to rally the troops to get better for the next week.
Aside from family and teammates, are there others that you try to reach out to get their perspective, particularly coming off of the bye week, just to help you frame some of what you're experiencing right now?
There wasn't really anybody that I, reached out to. I think that, our losses have been, pretty simple for the most part, of just us not being a team that, finishes consistently in the fourth quarter. And I think that that's just the reason. That's what we have to fix. So, I think that when you watch back the tape, you you understand why, we're not winning games. And it's little plays that you have to make and the other team is making, and we're not. And we're not making enough of those. So we have to correct that.
You've run the ball, at least on design runs, less since you came back from the concussion. What's your input on that, and what's your thoughts on that in general?
Yeah, I'm a competitor. I mean, I want the ball in my hand. So I definitely feel comfortable and confident running the ball. But at the same time, there's a lot of other really good guys on the team who, we got mouths to feed. So, you just try to do your best of doing the right thing for each and every play, trying to just stay disciplined, execute what's called, and I have confidence in all the guys around me.
How difficult was that to score?
It's pretty difficult. Whenever you get in that position, you expect to score. We didn't.
It looked as though after the touchdown got it to 1, and then you got the ball back, the emotions and the momentum on the sideline and even in the huddle, it looked like you guys were all fighting as hard as you could, and you really had the energy going. But again, the momentum kind of died.
Yeah, I definitely think once we got that last turnover, whenever we were down 1 score, we had all the momentum and definitely felt like we were going to go down and score. And, just didn't execute enough.
How tricky were the conditions today in terms of how it might play with the ball or it might play with some of the passes?
They were definitely, the deeper balls were definitely a little bit tricky. Just, it would get caught in the wind a little bit. But at the end of the day, we still got to catch the football.
We've talked about trying to finish strong with this team and again, coming up short. I don't know how you digest it. I don't know how you continue to go week to week. But is there a message you can give to some of the other players?
Man, just keep going. We got 3 games left, and let's win these last 3. So
appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you.
You think you got on that very last 4th down play? Did you get bumped? It looked like you thought you did.
Yeah, I got bumped. It was more so just a miscommunication between, I guess, me and Jaxson. I wanted to flatten it off, and he wanted me to go high. So little about it. Just got to talk through some more things and just make sure we're on the same page at the end of the game.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How about individually this year? You're arguably having your best season. There are 3 games left. How do you want to finish?
Obviously, I want to get some wins. I hate coming in this locker room after games losing. And then, personally, I don't think there's any secret, wanting to hit that 1,000-yard mark. So.
What's your takeaway from that game overall, Brian? It seemed like you guys were outplayed in the first half pretty on all sides, and then somehow at the end of the game, you guys are right there.
Just another Sunday. They were executing well in the first half, and we got behind 8 ball. But it was good to see the defense, come up with some great plays, some turnovers, and put offense in position to capitalize. So that was a good sight.
In that you're talking about the last 6 minutes, you guys forced 2 fumbles. People want to know if a team's gonna, for lack of a better word, team's gonna quit when they're 2-11. To you, did that tell you they're still fighting this team?
For sure.
What'd you make of Abdul's game? Seemed like
it was his coming out party. He had a good game. I feel like he, for the most part, just a feeling, because we didn't watch the film yet. I feel like he executed his assignment to. For the most part, yeah. I feel like he executed his assignments on most plays, and then he came up with some big plays that we needed. So, yeah, I'm proud of him right now.
Does that feel like an opportunity, a game that slipped away? They're in a similar spot to you guys in terms of they had a long losing streak, they've been eliminated. Does that feel like an opportunity that slipped away for you guys to end your streak? I know you expect to win every game, but
in that moment, did I feel like we could have? Yeah,
that was a game that you guys could have had?
Yeah, I mean, if you go down the season, there's a ton of games we could have had, you know. But yeah, that's another one that, you know, like I said, they got ahead early, and I'm just glad that the team didn't give up and we was fighting back, you know.
What's missing? Like you just said, there's a ton of games that you guys could have had. You know, you're not getting blown out a lot. You're right there. What's missing? What needs to happen?
Respectfully, man, if I knew that, we wouldn't be in this position. But I mean, hey, man, we got to keep rolling with the punches, keep swinging. At the end of the day, this is our job, so we have to, you know, show up and show out when we can. And yeah, man, I wish I had that answer.
As a whole, do you take this like these close games as moral victories? I know you the record is what it is, but moral victories at least?
Nah, I ain't in moral victories. I'm kind of just in the process. I like the way, like the process was good as far as like, even though we were down, guys were still believing, still fighting, still doing their job. Nobody had any egos or anything of that nature. So that's what I was more, you know, impressed with, and that's what I'm more excited about, more so than, you know, a moral victory. You know what I mean?